Hey everybody, welcome in. I'm going to do a little something different today based on some weekend weekend comments I've seen on the channel. So I want to talk today a little bit about ascension symptoms and going through a lot of craziness, angst, upset, whatever it is. Okay, so I want to try and reframe this for you so that you can step back and sort of see yourself in this process, okay? Because I get a lot of questions every week, all the time, about, wow, I'm seeing, 11:11 all the time. I'm seeing all this stuff. I'm seeing signs and synchronicities. I'm seeing this. I'm having some really rough, hard times going through full moons and just, the pain, the physical symptoms and all this stuff. Here's what I want to say to you. The more that stuff happens, the less of a clear channel you are to ascension. Okay? So this is not a judgment. This is not like, oh, you're not doing it right. Oh my God. That's exactly my point, is that when you go through a lot of the things you're going through, when I hear the comments and when I hear what's happening to people of like, oh, it feels like the flu and all this kind of stuff. First of all, one of the biggest blocks to ascension is holding on to belief systems, and holding on to belief systems of like, this is how a relationship needs to go. This is what this person has to do to get back in my good graces. This is how I need to behave in order to bring us together. This is, all of this stuff that is sort of going on with you and with me. Listen, everybody, okay? Take a step back and see that as a block. Okay? The belief system that we're exploding as twin flames, as moving forward in our life, is the idea that we know what a good relationship is. Because look around you. No one is doing it right. And doing it right. Hear me. Listen. That's what I'm saying to you. Like, what does that mean to do it right? Okay? So, number one, what I want to share with you is, if you're having a hard time, if you're having a lot of physical symptoms, part of the journey is, sort of blowing apart things you believe in, blowing apart assumptions or beliefs about what a relationship looks like. And I'm not telling you to get walked all over by somebody. In fact, no, this is exactly the opposite. This is about you. This isn't about anybody else. Okay? So just let all of that go. Let all y'all, let those twin flame, whoever you're like, I believe this is my person, whatever. Okay? Because what needs to happen right now, I'm feeling like what it would be really beneficial is, let's have a moment of silence. Let's have a time when there's no talk about future or past. There's no talk about that, okay? That's why I'm doing this video today. This is about mindfulness. This is about staying in the truth of your 100% beingness. That removes a lot of anxiety. That just moves it away from your path, okay? Being in that mindfulness, being in meditation, being in those things. Because what's blocking you is old belief systems. Okay, because a twin flame relationship cannot exist in an old-fashioned way of doing relationships, especially a paradigm of relationship that has proven it doesn't work for people. Look around you. This is an old way of doing relationship that's based in 19th and 20th century thinking. Where you're going has no relationship to that kind of thinking. Okay, so why would the relationship look like that one did? Think about that for a second. Just let your mind in meditation wander around that concept, okay? And it's not about letting someone walk all over you and treat you badly. It's also not about this old paradigm of relationship, right? And so now your brain is frantically searching to make a box. What does it look like? What's the paradigm? I need the rules. Somebody tell me the rules. What are the rules? Here's the big reveal. No rules. No rules. Okay? When you are in this high vibration, unconditional love place, free of these old paradigms that, oh, well, I'm just like being unconditionally loving and letting that person stomp all over me, or I'm totally controlling and you're going to do what I want to do, right? These two polarities, neither one of those are unconditional love. Okay? Because both of those things are not loving to self and not loving to anyone else. Both of those things. I let someone stomp all over me. I let him do whatever he wants, or I let everybody just, take from me. Or I'm so controlling that I'm just going to be like rah, 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 all the time. You're going to do this. You're going to do that. Neither one of those things is what is part of the ascension path. Okay? So those two boxes, I feel like we go pillar to post. It's either one or the other. It's got to be all this or it's got to be all that. I'm here to tell you it's neither one of those things. Okay? It's neither one of those things. So right now, instead of focusing on the other, instead of focusing on anyone else, my recommendation here, and I'm going to do a little bit of a reading from some oracle decks today about what's really important right now. I'm going to add my own little 2 cents in here before I do this. What's most important on my path, in my sort of awakening here, is helping everyone to see by holding a torch for the idea that removing belief systems, removing old belief systems. These are the box. Okay? Your brain frantically searches for a box to put it in. What is it supposed to look like? And then, not only that, but then the ego steps up and says, I got to be right about this. I got to be right about this. So my box, okay, the box that you are trying to create for this kind of relationship, you may not have even advanced far enough down the path and let go of belief systems enough to be able to say, because there is no box. There is no box. Being totally self-loving, being totally in a place of mindfulness, staying in the moment, releasing the old belief systems that were taught to you, well-meaning though they were, okay? No offense to 20th century parents or school systems or religions or friend groups or any of that. No disrespect to any of that. They had their time, they had their place, okay? What's being asked of you now is to awaken to the idea that all of those things had their day. There was purpose to it, okay? There was a lot, especially in the 20th century, 19th, 20th century, about, getting married being economically safe, okay? There was a big piece of that tied to marriage. Watch Titanic, okay? Perfect example. She's engaged to this fabulously rich guy. Jack Dawson comes along who doesn't have a pot to piss in, right? And there's love. And then he dies. Sorry, spoiler alert, Titanic people who haven't seen Titanic yet. Are there any? Okay. But that frees her. Even though Jack leaves this body, her system is free of these old belief systems. She was bucking them when she got on that boat. She was starting to awaken. She was starting to know that this wasn't right for her, that this was not her path. She was starting to see it. She was like, I felt like screaming. I wanted to kill myself. I ran down the boat. I was, right? She was just going crazy. Because she didn't have a box. She didn't know. Like, what am I supposed to do? If this isn't right, then what does it look like? I guess I just got to kill myself, right? Okay. No, contraindicated. All right? Jack was the catalyst. Could have been a twin flame. Jack was the person who showed her at his own peril, right? He did what he did out of love. That was pure heart chakra stuff, okay? All this other stuff that's like, oh, I'm going to let this person walk all over me just because it's unconditional love and this is my twin, so I got to just let it, happen the way it's going to happen, or I got to be totally in control of that. All of this comes from solar plexus. Comes from a place of power. Relinquishing complete power over here or total dominance. That comes from this. So when you have this heart chakra awakening, when you have this opening, all of the lower chakras are fused together. And old paradigms, and I had this happen not too long ago, when you're releasing old paradigms, you can kind of feel like nauseous. You can kind of feel like you want to puke. Okay. And for a couple of weeks, I was like, what is going on? If I didn't know better, right? Like, you're pregnant. Well, not virtually, impossible. It is impossible. And, nothing is impossible, right? But anyway, so some of these old belief systems are trying to get out. Okay? So being in the moment, being in what's happening here is you're struggling with, it's got to look this way or that way. There's no other way. And even if there is, I don't know what the box is. So my ego jumps in and goes, okay, smarty, what's the box? What does it look like? How do I know I'm doing it right? I'm teaching a tarot class right now. And the biggest question I get is, how do I know ... And that is the thing to be released. That is the thing to be released, because it's ego. How do I know? It's ego, right? It's like, so the answer to this, before I move on to do a little bit of this here, what does your soul want you to know right now if you're watching? The answer to this is unsatisfying in terms of a box. The answer to this is meditation, mindfulness, letting go, in all ways being loving to self. Okay? Practice all of these things. Yes, water, rest, wax on, wax off, go to work, come home, eat a good dinner, go to bed at a reasonable hour, right? There's certain health things for your 3D body, but as you're moving up into other levels of consciousness, all this stuff needs to also eat your vegetables and go to bed at a reasonable hour. And what I'm saying to you is, the part of the ascension process is releasing that need to have a box. Releasing the need to have a box. And what I mean by a box is a container of like, this is what it looks like. This is how I know I'm doing it right. So part of your job here is to, and this is why, there's some people, as I do readings for, I'm a Sag sun sign. I'm also a lot of air. I've also got a ton of air. It's easier for me, and especially if you look at the life I have led, it's less difficult for me to live with ambiguity, to live with uncertainty. Although, as I get older in my 3D body, I see how ambiguity and uncertainty, I see myself, how I fall back into those, like, I need a box, I need to know where I'm going, I need to, right? And so that does have to do with how much in control am I, knowing that you have a path here. Two things quickly, just to promote this too quickly. We are doing a North Node workshop next week. The registration will be closed this Friday, the 23rd. We're doing a North Node. The North Node in your astrological chart shows you your path in this life. It shows you the work to be done or the things you need to embrace. We talk about shadow. We're going to talk about South Node. That's the things you bring to this life, things from your past life that you're bringing to this life. So everybody's going to get a little chart. Everybody's going to get a little deal, a little like thing about like, hey, this is the North Node. This is where I'm supposed to be leading. Now, what I want to say this to you also. Talk about box. I need a box. When people talk about what is my life purpose, what is mission, there can be the desire to, how like when people talk about past lives. Everybody is Cleopatra. Everybody is, you know, Winston Churchill. Everybody is, you know, Abraham Lincoln. There's all this kind of thing around that. And that simply, you know, I am a believer in reincarnation. I'm also a believer in life cycles and different things. But we come into different lives for different reasons. The souls here on this earth right now, many, especially everybody in the ascension path, everybody who's chosen to walk down this path is here because of this, because of this ascension that's happening on this planet right now. You are all leaders. You are all torchbearers. You are all, so just take that. But when we talk about North Node and we talk about those things, sometimes people are on this planet to have adversity in certain ways. You know, my North Node is in the 8th house of death. Lots of transformation in my life. Lots of endings and new beginnings, which is why, for me, the box is, although sometimes very anxiety-inducing, I feel like I have tools to manage that because of my experience. And then I see other people who've had no adversity in their life, none, and they get to be 70 or 80 and they are paralyzed. And that is something I would never, even if that person was somebody of great means. And, you know, when you look at somebody who has had nobody tell them no their whole life and they get to be 70 or 80 years old, they're not changing. And they're also miserable because they believed that box was correct. And the universe is showing them, well, that was just a box you chose. And guess what? Things are changing. Okay. So a couple of these, I'm going to use Denise Lynn a lot today. I love Denise Lynn. If you're watching, I hope Denise Lynn watches. That would be so freaking awesome. So there's that. The class, to sign up for that class, the North Node is below. Also, Empress Club. If you're not part of the Empress Club Facebook group, please, there's a link below for that too. So, joy and delight. View from above, that's the big picture. Get the big picture. Taking shelter, the answers are within. Valiant courage, act with passion. Okay, so when we're talking about the ascension path, hold on, let me see. Let me keep doing the cards, and then this is a bigger picture thing. Okay, energy, healing energy, immense vitality. Okay, wisdom, all right, that's important right now. Energy, wisdom, energy and wisdom. All I truly need is within me. You've got that message here twice. Taking shelter, the answers are within. Broken heart, man holding a coin, all tied up, woman holding a heart. Wow. Okay, this is, and one here from the wisdom of the oracle here. Okay, luck. All right, so this is the Wheel of Fortune moving us forward, okay? Right now, since Jupiter has gone direct, things are moving. So if you're feeling them move, if you're feeling things happen, or if you're feeling like, I feel like some relationships could end, some twin energies can come together. Others of them need another cycle of separateness, of being in separation, mostly because of this that I'm seeing. So for you, the message here of joy and delight, open your heart to joy. This is about the taking shelter thing and the wisdom thing here. The answers are within. Go within. That's what's being asked of you right now. Taking shelter. View from above is the big picture. Look at this from a bigger vantage point. Most people are very focused on them and one other person. Okay, most people are focused on that. Valiant courage. Take actions with passion. Energy. This is you being in the path and doing the things that are right for you. Letting go of old paradigms. Like I said in that reading yesterday, letting go of old paradigms. Now, why are we having to let go of old paradigms? I do feel like I'm going to use the book here for this one. Broken heart. somebody here is not, it's not that you're not getting what you want. It's that there's another cycle of separateness here. The card shows a heart broken open, revealing darkness, emptiness, and grief. The hurt may be from long ago or maybe from the pain of a more recent event. Either way, a deep healing is called for now. A deep healing. And venting your feelings in a productive way, not at another person, okay? Feeling your feelings. So let me just say this to you, and then I'll talk about this man holding a coin, woman holding a heart. This is old paradigms of love and relationship. The financial stability, the woman holding the heart, the woman being the one in the energy of holding the feelings, this man holding a coin. I will read this. And then in the middle of that, all tied up, okay? This is tied up with old belief systems. So when you're having this heart chakra awakening, if you haven't had the heart chakra awakening yet, you will. This is a feeling, a burning sensation, a wide open feeling here in your heart. Okay, it can feel like someone stuck a hot poker in it. It can feel that way. Okay, and it really, what you're doing right now is you're breaking open your old paradigms, your old belief systems about love needs to work a certain way. And when you have this and all of these chakras are fused together, things coming from the solar plexus, so acting out, like wanting to like lash out at somebody or wanting to, block them and do all that stuff. What you're being shown here, if that is what's happening, is to move into this heart chakra and to act out of compassion for yourself and for others. I'm not saying that people don't do terrible things to you or others. I'm not saying that, okay? What I'm saying to you is this is showing up here because you need to heal a broken heart, because there's trust issues. There's things that have happened maybe long in the past that really need to be healed that haven't been healed yet. And so things may appear on your path. Someone may be coming on your path and really do some damage here, but the damage was already there. They're just like highlighting it. See, this is still here. This hurt is still here. This lack of healing is still here because it's right at the surface, comes right out. All right. The man holding the coin and the woman holding the heart. This is so interesting. Let me just read these to you. 43. Man holding a coin. Male connection in money, health, or value. This card shows a man sitting in a lush flowering field holding a large bright coin. For men, this could indicate an aspect of yourself. Notice it's a coin. And a reaction to further your goals and receive increased health, money, or value in your life. I feel like the twin energy here that we're talking about, I'm speaking directly to a group of twins whose the male energy is having problems with money, health, feeling low vibration because they feel they can't affect their life in that way. Greater success is on its way when you take control of your own finances and act. This card upright could also reveal the assistance of a financial advisor or healer whom you already know and are soon to meet. This man is helpful and may bring sage advice concerning the action you need to take next. Be open to this person showing up with support, but always turn to your own intuitive guidance to weigh the information you receive. This could also signify a new love interest with a wealthy man or a man from work. Okay, so some of you needed this message because there is a cycle going on with a man with a masculine energy. Now, if you're the masculine energy, listen to what I say about the female energy here. This man, this masculine energy needs to balance his internal sense of self-worth. It's showing up in the lack of financial viability of his life. Lots of money being drained out of this person, so they could be turning around and breaking your heart because they're just so focused on that. Okay, the 44 here is the woman holding a heart, female dealing with family, love, or emotions. The woman on this card wears a butterfly in her hair and holds a large, lovely heart in her hands. For a woman, this card upright could be a reflection of your own state of peaceful emotion and receptivity to love, or it might be a message that your family issues are going to resolve. You're an intuitive woman who understands the emotions of life, and you're bringing that awareness to all you do. This card upright could also indicate the presence of a female friend, teacher, or confidant who's here to help with issues of love, family, or emotion. This is an even-tempered and caring person who resonates with you and your emotions. Okay? So these two people, number 43 and 44, are trying to get together. This is the twin connection that is trying to come together. 23 goes to 5, right? 2 and 3 together, 5. There's change headed here. 23, all tied up. Interesting, very interesting here. Okay, this card shows a woman tied up with vines around her wrists, body, and arms. Receiving this card upright represents a situation in your life where things seem to be severely stuck. A major drama may be going on around you, stopping you from moving forward, or it may be stopping you from moving forward. This is the Wheel of Fortune. Things need to move forward, okay? Or maybe some technicalities are blocking your way, or perhaps you're waiting for a contract to be signed or an agreement to be made, right? Whatever is holding things up, the restrictions may be feeling quite oppressive at this time. If this isn't technically the case for you, what's tying you up is your own personal stuff. The need to release old belief systems. Look at your life and see how you can be your own jailer. That's the devil energy, okay? Are you tying yourself up in some emotional angst or in a negative habit that you refuse to deal with? If so, it's time to cut the vines and make some serious changes now. You needn't live in your self-imposed jail any longer, okay? So this is a twin energy that's on the earth right now that is happening, that these two people, most of them are masculine, feminine. There can be same sex. Don't get all tied up who's who. Just big picture, view from above, right? See the idea that that there are people on this planet right now trying to get into union. They're letting old hurts block the path because they're not going inside. They're not doing meditation. They're not listening to their own guides. They're not having courage about their own situation. And what needs to happen here, don't discount this joy and delight thing. This happiness and joy is a higher vibration energy. So healing energy and immense vitality flow through me easily and effortlessly. Mantra number 1. Number 2, all I truly need is within me. So the woman here can be tied up in the idea that I don't have love without this man with a coin. The man with a coin can be tied up in the idea of I won't get love unless I'm financially super successful, right? These are very 20th century paradigms. All tied up. All tied up. So this little energy reading here says to me that things are moving forward, and what needs to occur is healing the heart, healing. And how you do that is releasing old paradigms, old belief systems, and then resisting. I don't know if that's the right word, but I need a box. I need to have a box. What is it supposed to look like? Right now, just for right now, allow yourself to sit in the ambiguity of I don't know. I don't know what it looks like. I don't know what it's going to look like. Not sure. For the masculine energy, I'm not sure what my abundance looks like. I'm not sure. I really keep walking down this path of this kind of job. This is what I'm trained for. This is what I need to keep doing. And I keep getting fired. I keep, something keeps happening. Or I have my own business and I just can't even get out of bed to do it, right? The masculine energy is having a problem of advancing their abundance. That's what they believe they need to get love because the lack of joy and delight, okay? The female energy here and feminine energy, right? Don't get messed up. It's not a guy and a girl all the time, but masculine, feminine. The feminine energy is getting tied up in this. If I love enough, then love will come to me. And by doing that, sometimes there's a lot of releasing and no, that's not what I want to say. By doing that, sometimes there's a lot of resistance of self, giving love to self. There you go, right? Releasing old belief systems that I need to be in a relationship to be valuable. That's the belief system from 20th century, right? Remember what Rose did? She hid from the rich guy. She knew Jack was gone. There's no coming back, right? He wasn't coming back. He's not walking through that door. Okay? And she did it anyway because she knew the gift he gave her was freedom. Listen to the monologue that the old Rose talks about. The message, the gift that soulmate gave her was freedom. Freedom from an old paradigm. Okay? And at that, in 1911 or whatever that was, early in the 20th century, what a radical idea that was for a woman to want to be on her own. To, she got married eventually. She had a great life. She had grandchildren. This woman had a great life, but she let go of a paradigm. She knew it was wrong for her. She knew that was going to keep her small, right? And so how do you cut the vines? Look at that. Cutting the vines here, all tied up. Cutting the vines. How can you release the old belief systems that you have around relationships without the anger, without the, I'm going to cut you off, without that, or without the, oh, I'm just going to let them stomp all over me, right? Without either those two opposing things. There's a lot in the middle. There's a lot in the middle. But not knowing for sure where we're going, right? Not knowing for sure what the paradigm looks like. Upending old paradigms, upending old situations, right? Upending, institutions that no longer work for people. Because you can't have a high vibration relationship, a truly ascended relationship looking like it used to in the past century, in the 19th, 20th century, early 21st century. It can't look like that because that doesn't work. That paradigm doesn't work, okay? So what is it? So releasing those belief systems, releasing all that, and then sitting in the ambiguity of, I don't know. But what I do know is every day I can meditate, I can take care of myself, I can walk my path, I can walk toward my North Node, I can be on my mission, I can do one day at a time. I don't need to know. Because when you walk toward, if your intention, you are setting an intention to walk toward high vibration love, right? That's a very important part of this. I waited till 32 minutes to tell you that. Intentionality of walking toward high, I just assume we all are on the same page about that. Walking toward high vibration love. I don't know what that looks like. Maybe I'm not supposed to know what it looks like right now. But I do know this. I do know there's some things that don't work. Okay? And sometimes that's all you need, right? Like with this man in his work. I don't know what my new career is going to be, but I know what it's not going to be. Okay? I know I don't like working with clients like this. I know I don't like using this skill set. Yeah, I can change a tire, but do I want to live my life changing tires and that's how I want to make my living? Now, some people love that. But this particular man is not on task. This particular woman is not on task. This, because of the vines all tied up with old paradigms. So, my message to you today is about belief systems are the box. Your old belief systems, culturally, whatever your culture, your race, your family, your religion, your education, whatever things have taught you is the right way to be, okay? I'm inviting you to review those things. Review the boxes you have in your life. Review them, okay? Just review them. Meditate, be mindful, see what comes up for you. See what comes up for you. Okay? If you're walking this spiritual path and you're having these physical symptoms, there's some things that are stuck that need to be released. Okay? That's what's happening. And then know, because you'll be ready for it. If you're thinking in the big picture, if you're truly in this view from above, you see that ego coming down the road going, but I need to know what it is. I need to know what it looks like. Tell me what the box is. Why can't it be the old paradigm? And you'll be like, oh, well, hi, ego. How are you? Sit down. Sit down. We got some talking to do. the method, the walking every day of toward the intention of high vibration love flows through what is in here. You truly have everything you need in here. So go deep. I remember saying that last fall. Go deep. And allow. We'll do a lot more videos on this. Okay? All right, you guys.